Hey guys, Rx Grimmshaw here, bringing you a video on wall bouncing. I did an intro to wall bouncing a few days ago, or a week ago, however long that was. It was some very basic strategy with the wall bounce, and I want to talk about the mechanics of wall bouncing this time. Basically right here I'm showing you the distance of a forward cover slide. I'm moving up slowly to this railing from the curb to accurately gauge the distance of a forward cover slide. I'm using the alternate control scheme, which means I'm not going to roll if I'm out of the cover slide range. So the distance is roughly that from the curb to the railing. And now you can see I can actually take that same distance and slide diagonally to these parallel surfaces, being the curb and the railing. I can slide a little bit further if I go diagonal, and this is because the forward cover slide gives you a little bit of latitude as to what is considered forward. There's a little bit of play left and right. It feels to me about 15 degrees each direction from straight forward. If you tap A on its own, you'll go straight forward. Otherwise, you can move it a little bit left and right. And I've represented that with this graphic, kind of a triangle showing from your position you can go straight forward with a little bit of latitude to the right or the left, and this is still considered a forward covered slide. So that's your distance on a forward cover slide. Now a side slide is drastically less than that. As you can see, it's about half the distance of the forward slide. And once again, I'm using the control scheme, the alternate, so I don't roll. I can't attach as I go. I can't attach the cover this far out, but as I move in, here comes the slide, and there it is. So that is the distance of the side slide. Here's where the mechanic comes in that I wanted to talk about. Basically, your cover slide forward is a good distance, long distance here, as you can see, and then to the sides is drastically less. It's about half. So what I've found is when you're trying to cover slide forward and you don't slide like you felt like you should, it's because you are sliding at too much of a diagonal, and it's registering as a side slide instead of a forward slide. And on this graphic, you can see these angles. They're kind of an awkward angle that makes it basically so the game thinks you're trying to side slide, but you're too far away to do a side slide. So it's just you either roll or you don't do anything if you're using alternate control. The other spot you can't cover slide is directly behind you. Other than that, you can do left, right, and forward. It's kind of these three directions, and then each direction has a little bit of latitude, a little bit of play, where you can do some diagonal to it. So forward, if you're going forward, this is determined by your camera, not your character movement. So not your left joystick, but your right joystick. So in wall bouncing, you really need to focus on the camera movement, so that to get the long bounce, you need to spin your camera around in front of you and allow for a forward cover slide instead of a side cover slide. Now see, these are side cover slides to the back. You can't go straight back, but I'm going diagonally back, and that's about as far back as you can get a cover slide. Those are side slides again. Now we'll take our forward cover slide and turn it into wall bouncing by going from one wall, spinning your camera, going to the next wall, spinning your camera again, and so on. However often, however many times you need to do that. So let's give it a try here. We forward cover slide, spin the camera, and you're spinning your character movement. But whenever you spin the camera with your right thumbstick, it spins where your character is facing. So that turns every one of these slides into a forward cover slide, which is then considered wall bouncing. You can start to get a little faster at it. You have to pull off of the cover before you go into the next slide, and how you do that is you pull back with your movement controls, your movement stick. You press down. So in this case, we're actually canceling the wall bounce by pulling off before we hit the wall, and this is where you can get some real speed going on the wall bouncing. You cancel the slide before you actually attach to the cover. You can do it either way, just depending on the situation, but this is how you do it more quickly, is canceling the slide before you hit the cover. And as I said before, I'm not the greatest wall bouncer, but I've learned a lot taking the time to go into the game and mess around on cover and learn the distances and such. So in using a side slide, I use that to dodge, basically dodge a shot. So I would shoot at a guy, and as he's shooting at me, I pull off to the side so the shot will miss me. I mean, it's a form of wall bouncing, but technically when you see those guys bouncing around like crazy, what they're doing is using the forward slide. And these are the side, which is half the distance, which will work in a narrow hallway like that. Here's a quick slide out of the sniper shot. And I mean, basically, this is what I figured out, guys. I've learned about cover slides, that your forward slide is a lot longer than your side slide. So you now take this information and adapt it to your style of play. I'm not the biggest wall bouncer, and I probably won't ever be. Like, it's not my thing. I like to strafe. I like the dodge with the side slide. As far as bouncing down halls to get there as quick as you can, I mean, I'd rather just pull out my rifle and shoot the guy. But I do like wall bouncing to dodge. And thanks for checking us out, guys. If you have any ideas of videos or mechanics or things you'd like me to test out or see, just let me know. Thanks for checking us out.